excellent. As I'm looking at this PowerPoint, I'm starting to question why I decided to put the logo in the middle of the puddle, so don't read into that too much. But welcome to another round of the Tele, what you need to know about your 401k right now. This week's topic is avoidable 401k mistakes. I'm going to be your host today, Craig Gingerich, Certified Financial Planner here at Rutty. Let's dive right in. A couple things to talk about before we get into the meat of things. Just a couple housekeeping pieces. If there's ever a topic that you missed or you wanted to share with somebody, or you just wanted to re-watch through, or if you're in HR and you wanted to share it with some of the employees underneath you, please visit our website, sagerutty.com/telek. We'll take you right there, or if you just go to sagerutty.com, I'm sure you can find it. If you do have any ideas or have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Always looking for new ideas, new topics to make sure this is as valuable as possible for you. Today, we're going to be talking about some of the 401k pitfalls, or some of the 401k blunders that I see, some of the potholes, things that can derail your retirement savings. Some of what we'll talk about are small little bumps in the road. Some of them look more like this, right? So with that as our backdrop, and I can't imagine what those two guys are thinking as they look at their car, let's dive right into what some of these major potholes can be. So first is not saving, and this isn't rocket scientist, right? Statistically speaking, about 0% of people who've saved $0 for retirement are on track to comfortably retire, right? This is not brain surgery. If you're not saving anything, likely you're not going to be able to retire. I just like to remind people of that. I think we know it. It's very simple, but we all know people that aren't saving for one reason or another, but the need is still there. And I wanted to add a quick snapshot of what it looks like if you don't save for retirement. If you're living in your car, really love about this photo. If you take a closer look, he's sleeping on top of a Pringles can, which is sad, but also is sort of like that modern art that I see that I don't always fully understand, like a snapshot of modern day America. Don't be somebody that has to sleep on top of a Pringles can. Save for your retirement. Take care of your own finances. Number two, and this is probably the most common thing that I see, is only saving to the match, and it kills me, right? Say that you're matching dollar for dollar, your company is matching dollar for dollar on the first 3% of your pay. That still means you're only saving 6%. That is not enough, right? Saving only to the match is not going to get you to retire on your terms. It's like only doing enough to pass in school, or only making minimum payments on your credit card, or only wearing a seatbelt when you see a cop, right? You avoid this immediate pain, but what you're doing is setting yourself up for later, much larger pain down the road, right? So obviously, take advantage of the match, take advantage of as much free money as possible, but then take care of yourself above and beyond that. Target savings rate is 15% of your pay. It's not easy to get there, but if you only ever go up to what the company's matching, you're never going to get there. It reminds me of this quote that I really love. Most people tiptoe their way through life hoping to make it safely to death, right? You've avoided all of these small things, but at the end of the day, you've still ended up in a negative spot. So make sure you're saving enough for your lifestyle, not just saving enough to get the free money. Topic number three, misunderstanding risk. This is really common. I think our industry probably does a bad job of explaining that to people. They like to use risk and volatility interchangeably, and they are not the same thing. So if you Google how to avoid risk in stocks, it tends to have you avoid volatility, which is not the same thing. Volatility is the temporary fluctuations that you see in the value of a stock, right? Today it's worth $10, tomorrow it's 11, the next day it's 9. It goes up and down and fluctuates. That's anticipated. Risk, on the other half, is not having enough money when you need to live off of it. Risk is the money is not there when I need it. And risk always has two competing forces to it. The first is, yes, what happens if the value of the asset that I own is down when I need to sell it, right? What happens if my 401k is lower than I need it to be when I'm getting ready to live off of it? That's also balanced with everything that you need to buy will cost more next year, right? What happens if prices are up when you need to spend and you've locked in how much money that you have? So it's definitely a balancing act. I really love using a house analogy to help understand it, right? Say that tomorrow you went out and bought a house for $100,000. The next day, the housing market pops the house is only worth 50,000. Then the following day things ramp up and it's worth 200,000. And then the day after that comes back down to 100,000. What's changed? Besides your property taxes, which have probably fluctuated pretty dramatically, nothing's changed, right? Fundamentally, your house the price of your house only matters when you're getting ready to sell, right? In that same situation, say somebody, I go up to you today and say, hey, I want to buy your house from you for what it's worth today in 10 years from now, right? Your house is worth $100,000 today. I will give you $100,000 in 10 years from now to buy your house. You'd say, absolutely not. That's crazy, right? My house is probably going to appreciate in value over that time frame. Why would I want to lock myself into this low price? Which sounds crazy, but people are doing the exact same thing within your retirement account, right? You're saying, okay, I know how much I have. I'm just going to lock into that, even though recognizing you're going to need more money down the road. You're switching over to something super conservative to protect today's dollars, but you need today's dollars to grow to buy the exact same stuff. So just something to keep in the back of your mind. Risk and volatility are not the same. Our fourth topic today is cashing out. And I would say this most commonly happens when people are switching between companies. I'm working at company A, I went to company B. What should I do with company A's 401k? And it's really common. Unfortunately, I see a lot of people say, well, I'll just cash it out. I'll start fresh and it'll be fine. And so I wanted to share this chart that helps me kind of wrap my head around the real impact of that. So this is a chart that shows savings rate based on different starting ages. If you started saving your 401k $200 per month at age 25 versus age 35 versus age 45, what does that look like? Right, and so say I started at my first job when I was 25, I switched jobs when I'm 35. Most people say, okay, well, the difference is that cost there, right? How much was in my 401k when I switched jobs? In this scenario, it's about $30,000, which sounds like a lot, but at the same time, I see it all the time. People are cashing out of their account after penalties and tax. It ends up buying them half of a car. And so people say, okay, you know what? It doesn't really matter. Those dots are pretty close together. I can deal with starting over again. What they don't recognize is that the real difference is the impact at retirement, right? It's that gap between the two lines, and you're not losing this small amount here. Oh, let's see if we can get the pointer back up here. You're not losing this small amount of 30,000. You're losing, in this scenario, it works out to about 305,000. Right? You think about half the car I bought, cashing out your old 401k and buying a car means that Kia that you're driving around cost you $305,000, right? Remember that next time that you consider, oh, I got an old account, I'll just cash it out. That account is working and growing for you and makes a huge impact. The more time that you allow in there, the better that it is. And so starting fresh is not the same. So that is probably the most impactful thing, most impactful pothole that you can avoid dropping your car into. Number 5, the last one for today, is lifestyle creep. And this isn't isolated just to 401ks, but it's a real threat to just overall financial independence. And it's the propensity for us to spend more as we make more, right? So say that you get a raise, you now have more money, which means you're likely to spend more money. And then eventually your spending reaches or exceeds what you're making. So then you start working harder so that you can get a raise, so that you can have more money to spend more, right? It becomes this vicious cycle. When you see people that are able to retire at these ridiculously early ages, this is the thing that they have mastered, right? If you see somebody say, I retired when I was 45, it's because they started saving in their early 20s and when they were used to their bare bones budget from college, and then they never increased their lifestyle as their income was increasing. If I was comfortable living off of 30 grand a year, which is what I started at, and now I'm making 70 grand a year, if I can keep living on that 30 grand a year lifestyle, that dramatically improves my financial independence. Means I'm saving more, means I'm in a much better spot. I'm a really big fan of the strategy. Every time you get a raise, move at least part of that into savings. So I like to do it through the 401k. Obviously, I'm a little biased by that, but every time I get a raise, half goes to me, half goes to my 401k, makes it easy. I noted on here, it's especially dangerous if you have this I'll save later attitude. I'm early in my career, I'll make more money down the road, I'll start saving down the road. That absolutely kills your chances at financial independence. As my partner Doug always likes to mention, if you want to be a millionaire, don't live like a millionaire, right? Find a way to keep your lifestyle, stay comfortable at the lifestyle that you are, and as you see your income increase, increase your savings, increase your investing, increase your debt pay down with those dollars rather than just increasing your spending. So we talked about 5 potholes today. Really big ones: not saving enough, misunderstanding risk, cashing out an old account really hurts, and then lifestyle creep. These are just the first 5. In 2 weeks from now, we'll be covering the next 5 of 401k mistakes. Unfortunately, there are a lot of potential mistakes out there. Hopefully you found this valuable. Hopefully you, if not all of them resonated with you, at least 1 or 2 of them of, oh gosh, that I could see how that could derail my finances. I could see how that would have a pretty big impact on my lifestyle. I'm glad I'm going to steer clear of that. So as always, happy to address questions. If you have any questions, please utilize the Q&A button at the top there. Happy to take any questions that you may have. If you are looking for more individual questions, if you just don't feel comfortable utilizing this, please feel free to reach out to me directly. My email's on there. My phone number is on there. And last and most importantly, as always, is thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for taking the effort to attend today. Hopefully you found it valuable. And most importantly, thank you for the business and trust that you place with me and you place with all of us here at Sage Rutty and on the 401k team. We certainly do not take that lightly. If you ever have questions, anything in life with a $sign next to it, that's what we're here for. That's what we're here to help with. So I appreciate it. I'll